Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here, and welcome back to 31 Days of December. And if you are just joining us in this video, go back because there's lots more to watch before now. Of course, you don't have to watch them in any particular order, but if you'd like to keep up, you might as well go back and watch the other ones. Today I am going to talk about a place that is really interesting to me just because I love the feeling of energy. I'm a big person who bases a lot of things on energy. I can keep a pretty good sense of what's going on around me by the energy that's going on, and this place had a lot of it. Now, this story, I guess, is actually about a shipwreck in Newfoundland. I know there's plenty of those. But this one in particular is about a whaling shipwreck in Conception Harbor in Conception Bay. And I have actually been there myself. So way back in May, my roommate and I went to Newfoundland for her little sister's high school graduation, and we ended up deciding that we were going to drive as much of the Avalon as possible and check out everything that we possibly could in the short amount of time that we were there. And so one of the trips that we did was down all the way from where her family was, and then all the way up and through Conception Bay, all the way to St. John's. And we always love finding those little hidden spots that are maybe not well known, or they just have really kooky names, which Newfoundland is full of. And so this particular time, we were actually looking for Bacon Cove because we wanted to go take a picture of the sign. And we ended up seeing, as we turned down the road to go to Bacon Cove, that there was a giant ship's hull sticking out of the water. And so we were really excited because it was something that we kind of had heard about in the area, but we weren't exactly sure where it was. And we ended up driving up, and there was a little picnic spot that you can park at. So we park the car, we get out, and this thing is huge, like gigantic, even with it sticking out of the water. It's beautiful, it's rusted, and there were actually little information signs that were put out about the ship. So I'm going to fill you in on a little bit of information about it. So the ship that you can see sticking out of the harbor is the SS Charcot. It was originally built in Norway in 1923 for whaling, and it was then sold to a company in southern Labrador in 1943, and then again to another company in Conception Bay a little while later. This ship, like I said, compared to us, was gigantic. And of course, being a whaler, you kind of expect that. It was 117 feet in length, with a width of 21.6 feet and weighed 212 tons. That's a big ship, like massive. Tragically, this ship got to the end of its days in 1970 during a storm, which is not uncommon for Newfoundland. Obviously, it's an island. It's in the middle of the ocean. It's in the middle of the Atlantic. It's always stormy. And it broke away from its moorings, washed up on shore, and they decided that it wasn't worth the repair to fix it again. So they just left it where it was. Now, for quite a long time, by the locals, they thought that it was actually another ship called the SS Sposa. Once the Shipwreck Preservation Society of Newfoundland stepped in, they were doing underwater survey of the area. They found out that it was the SS Charcot, realize what had happened in this time. And then they actually found 2 more whaling ships on the floor of the harbor behind the SS Charcot. Now, those 2 ships are the SS Southern Foam and the SS Suka. They were also whaling ships, and there are actually like tours that you can do, or if you know how to scuba on your own, you can actually go in and you can go down into the harbor and check it out yourself. Of course, always being careful, for sure, be careful. But once you're there, once you're on the beach, you can feel everything. Newfoundland is a very charged place all in itself, and it's kind of fun in a lot of ways. And I mean that in a very sweet way. And obviously, it can be very chaotic at times too, especially with how much electricity goes through the air when there are big storms. But in this area in particular, you could feel everything. You could feel the sound of the ship. You could feel how it would have been to have it there in the harbor, in its glory, in its heyday. It was just a really cool feeling to be in that energy, to know the area, to know that whaling was a very big part of Newfoundland way back in the 50s and 60s. And just, it was really cool. I don't know if there are anything ghostly particularly that happen around there, but just the energy of the place, I'm sure it either attracts things or, there must be something that happens. But of course, because all of the ships are either mostly underwater or completely underwater, it's a little hard to tell whether anything actually does happen in the area or if it happens on the ship itself. While we were there, I actually felt so strongly about the energy around the area that I did end up writing a bit of poetry about Newfoundland in general, but also about these ships in particular. And one of the things that I did mention in the poem was how I could actually hear the sounds of like the harpoons firing. I could hear the chains as they're, hoisting whales up, and just the commotion that would have caused, and how excited the men would be, and how excited everybody would be that a whale was got, or just those things like that make Newfoundland and that area unique. I plan on doing an entire series about shipwrecks at some point, and I'm sure we'll just do them slowly so that you guys don't get too bored of them. But I thought I would kick it off with this one. It's a gorgeous place. I absolutely adore it. I would love to get back there as soon as we move and do a little bit more of an exploration. I would love to get down there and scuba myself and take pictures. But yeah, if you guys have had any experiences around old shipwrecks in or out of the water, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe, click the notification bell, because for the rest of December, I will be uploading every single day, and then we will be back in the new year with a whole new adventure. Have a good night, guys.